What is going on, y'all? Welcome to Joel Friday TV. I am Joel Friday. Welcome to the show. A few announcements before we get started. Hit that like button, smack it. Lay the smack down and like, subscribe, and share button. Tell your peoples about the show so we get the subscribers up and the message out. Do it now. Help a brother out. As you guys know, we are live Monday through Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific time, and at any point during the show, you can call in at what's the number? Joel, I got you. 888-775-3773, 888-775-3773, and we could talk about whatever. We can get into it. Calls have been really good lately, and I appreciate them. I appreciate all the calls, but you can call in, and guess what? We could talk about some stuff. I could chop it up. We could put it on YouTube, and maybe we go viral, help some people, save some lives. So you can't call in at 888-775-3773. If for whatever reason you can't call in, but you still have a question or comment, or you just want to support the show, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/JoelFridayTV. The link is in the YouTube description, or go directly to the YouTube live chat. Hit the super chat button there. I'll read your question or comments live on air. All right? That's the best bet to get your comments read, because I can't always look at the chat. And there'll be so many chatters, it's hard to see the thing, right? So go to buymeacoffee.com/JoelFridayTV. Amazing stuff. Oh, we getting into it. I got some stuff. What we get into, Joel? Listen, I want to talk a little bit about some manipulation. All right? Because we know that one of women's greatest tools, greatest skills that they use is manipulation. Not all, of course. Not all. But many women, as they're growing up, it actually starts from adolescence, infancy, even babies. Listen, this skill has been sharpened for years and years and years, from the very beginning of time, for each child, right? Because children know how to get what they want through manipulation, even as a child, even as something as simple as knowing that crying gets you what you want. Even knowing by crying is going to get you the attention that you desire as a child. So over time, if it's not checked by the parents, the manipulation skill set is bar none. And women tend to use it a lot because they're able to get their way a lot easier, given that they can't always get the things they desire, go out and get the things that they desire like a man can, right? So they use their manipulation skills. So this is a thing, right? And a lot of men fall for most of the time. Us men fall for the manipulation tactics, because not all the time is it necessarily evil driven, right? Not all the time is it evil driven, but there's times where men can be tricked and seduced by this manipulation, right? And it's our job, and people's job in general, because men can manipulate as well. But it's your job to discern and to be aware. But it's very tricky, because that's Satan's greatest skills is manipulation. That's what he has to use. He has to manipulate and deceive you into doing something against your will. You know what I mean? So today, I just wanted to give you guys an example, an interesting an interesting clip that I came across of a lady who I believe is using her manipulation skills to get what she wants. And I could totally be wrong about this, guys. I could be wrong about this. This is just what I believe to be true. But obviously I'm not in this girl's mind. I was also not in this the environment that this girl was in. So I don't know for sure, but this is what I believe to be true, right? I'm giving my opinion. Okay? And I believe my opinion on this to be true. But you make your own decision. So this here is from, give me a second here while I pull it up. This here is from, hold on one second. Caught in Providence YouTube channel, right? And what that is there's this guy by the name of Judge Frank Caprio. And he's basically like a judge, like, you know, like those shows like Judge Judy and Judge Joe Brown. Like, it's that type of style show where it just shows the judge, you know, doing his job against these people, defendants, who are like, for small cases, sometimes maybe big cases. But yeah, Judge Frank Caprio is one of those guys. And in this clip here that we're gonna play, we're gonna do a pause and play thing. It's a little lengthy, like 4 minutes. So we're gonna do a pause and play with some commentary in between, because what I want to do is I want to break down where I believe the signals, the signs of this manipulation tactic that this woman is using on the judge. And I want to break that down and we kind of try to make sense of it. You know what I mean? So Judge Frank Caprio shows mercy on a crying girl in church. I mean, not in church. What the? In court. But while we wait on, give me 1 second while I pull this up. Oh yeah. Oh, we getting into this.
I don't know how to respond to that.
Whoa, Siri, chill. Chill out, Siri. Okay, I'm pulling it up right here so you guys can see. Unmute the volume. Boom. Here we go.
Good morning.
Gladys, what are we going to do with you?
Wait, let's boost the volume. Up the volume here.
What are we going to do with you? Look at this innocent little girl, Inspector Quinn. She has 9 violations.
Start this over. All right, here we go.
Good morning.
Gladys, what are we going to do with you? What are we going to do with you? Look at this innocent little girl, Inspector Quinn. She has 9 violations. 9 red lights and speeding. Gladys, what do you do? Do you work?
Yes, I work for a staffing agency. I'm a
First off, look at her eye, look at her demeanor, look at everything. She's already got this somber type of attitude, right? Already low tone, already barely can hear, already has this like sorry type of look on her face.
recruiter. My explanation to those tickets, I dealt with a domestic violence relationship.
Starts crying.
I ate a lot of those nights running away from somebody that used to chase me with my daughter.
How old is your daughter?
9.
Is she living with you?
Yeah. She's in school right now.
She was what?
She's in school
He
right
didn't
now.
ask that. He asked if she was in school, but of course it has to look, you know what I mean? It has to look sad and like she's just a little girl that's in school and she's innocent, right? She mean this way. Now, mind you, there's many situations like this girl situation, where they actually are telling the truth, right? That they actually are in certain situations that are what do you call it? Unfortunate. So it's not to say that she's not telling the truth, but let's just point out some of these signs here. So she's crying already. She says her little girl's in school. Here we go.
School right now. You only have one child?
Yeah.
Okay. And,
And the other one from the other play, I had registered a car.
well, wait a minute. I'm still trying to determine why you would go through
The 727 one by the hospital.
What? 1 minute. I'm trying to determine why you would go through 9 red lights. Okay.
9 red lights.
Were you being pursued by somebody, or were you just?
Yeah.
All right, Gladys. We are very sensitive to matters involving personal safety, particularly people who are being stalked for like whatever reason, and that's very personal with you. So we're not going to get into that at all. But we
pause real quick. What he did right there is what a lot of us men do. Is we just gave ammo. We just gave ammo to the situation. We gave ammo to the girl by saying, how did he give ammo? He said that we are sensitive to personal situations that people go through, and we have like this understanding type of outlook. So let's just hear that part again, because that's
understand like whatever reason matters involving we are very sensitive to matters involving personal safety, particularly people who are being stalked for like whatever reason, and that's very personal with you. So we're not going to get into that at all. But we understand that, and Inspector Quinn just had a conversation with me relative to that. Okay, many of these were not related to anything else except that you violated the traffic laws. Okay,
Right.
and some maybe because of a state of mind that you could have had some effect on your driving, but certainly not all of these, okay? And there are several of them. So I'm going to now inquire into your ability to pay these fines, okay? So are you working?
Yes.
What do you do?
I'm a recruiter for a staffing agency.
Okay. And how many, you have one child?
See, look, notice really quick. Notice how her attitude changed. Remember, she was sad and somber, and like, I was in a domestic situation, and I ran my little girls in school, right? She was crying, right? And as soon as the judge then said, well, we're not going to get into that. Let's talk about how you're going to pay these 9 red lights that you ran. Let's talk about how you're going to pay that. Look at how her attitude changed. Now she's more serious, right? Because she's like, oh, shoot, I got to still pay these things. Watch, I'm going to go back a little bit.
Inquire into your ability to pay these fines, okay? So are you working?
Yes.
What do you do?
I'm a recruiter for a
Look.
staffing agency.
Recruiter for a staffing agency. Look, there ain't no tears in that one. It got real serious. Like, I'm a recruiter for a staffing agency. I am working. You see how she's kind of almost like tick. She's like got almost mad here that, wait, I still got to pay these fines type of thing. But let's move on.
Okay. And how many, you have one child?
I'm a single parent.
Boom! Another red flag. Do you have any other children? No, I'm a single parent. You see that little bone right there? That little bone that you threw out there? I'm a single parent, right? Asking for some more sympathy, asking for a favor. I'm a single parent. My daughter's in school. I was in a domestic relationship. See these little things thrown out there? These are like manipulation tactics. That's why you got to pay attention. These are a little manipulative. Because why does she have to say that? She doesn't have to say that. He didn't ask. He didn't ask if she was single or not, right? He didn't ask that. But she threw it out there because she wants something in return. Interesting stuff, at least to me.
I can understand you're going through some difficulty in life, so we're going to try to help you out.
Boom! Okay. Red flag for the judge, right? That's just ammo. That's ammo, right? Now look at her. Look, now she's a little bit sad again. Like, oh, right? He's feeding that, right? And men do it. We all do it in all kinds of different ways, but we have to be aware. But look, he just fed into her a little bit more. Here we go.
Okay, there are in this country, in this world, some very generous people and some very compassionate and understanding people. And I receive correspondence from all over the world every week. And many of the correspondence includes checks from people who want to help other people because they have become familiar with the court proceedings here. So I have a correspondence from a individual by the name of Yosef Baras from Kingston, Pennsylvania. And he sent me a check for $100 asking that I use this, exercising my discretion, but that I do it by exercising some compassion and empathy. Okay. So I'm going to use that $100 to help pay your fine. Your fine is going to be a total.
Hold on 1 second. Look, he just gave her it out, right? He just said that I have $100 here to help. Her fine is like $350, right? $350. And he just gave a donation of $100 through like another person, right? He just said, look at the way her face changes.
By exercising some compassion and empathy. Okay.
Look, see, look at her. Look at her.
I'm going to use that.
Look, now she's got this somber thing again. She's back with the somber, right? She's back with the sadness. Even if this is not intentional, it's still a manipulation tactic is learned behavior. You know what I mean? Even if it's not intentional, which I don't find it to not be, but this is still learned behavior over time of knowing how to get what you want. It's manipulation. Look, she's back to looking sad. She's back to looking like grateful. She's back to looking somber because she's getting what she wants. Here we go. And the men, we just eat it up because we're like, she's feeling better. She's appreciative. She's blah, 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 right? We eat it up.
That $100 to help pay your fine. Your fine is going to be a total of $350. Additionally, I'm going to employ the generosity of a second,
one.
and that is the Fields family of Phoenix, Arizona. And they sent me a check for $75. These people are both immigrants, and they want to help someone else who is in need. So we're going to use that $75 check for you as well. So that's $175.
Wiping the tears. I didn't see a tear drop, but I didn't see one drop. But maybe we're not in 4K, so we don't see the tears from the quality of this YouTube video. Maybe there were some tears that we didn't see, but she's wiping the tears. I'm so thankful. My ticket's being reduced to $175. And wow, this is so amazing, right? This is the vibe that we're getting from this lady here.
And then lastly, I have a check from Casa Mesta, California, from a Zeno Mueller Coaching. Asked me to use my discretion to help someone who's in need and sent in a check for $50. So I'm going to use those three checks, and that comes to $225. So you're going to owe $125. Okay?
Can I give you a hug?
Oh,
Come on up
oh, got him. Got him. Can I give you a hug? Got him.
Relax. You feel better now?
Got him.
Wix, one platform,
Oh,
any website.
sorry, y'all. Ad. Let me go back to me. Guys. Got him. Got him. I just wonder, and I don't know, but I just wonder if she would have had that same response if there was no favor given. Can I give you a hug? Right? I wonder. Right? And it doesn't go without saying that, let's just say that she actually went through these situations. She actually went through this. Regardless, the skills were used. Oh, the manipulation skills were used, right? Because my thing is this. My thing is always this. That where is the accountability? That's what I'm saying. To me, when you think about honesty and realness, you think about accountability, right? Where's the accountability? Because to me, when you take accountability, that shows that you're really sorry, right? When you point out where you went wrong, that shows honesty. You know what I mean? And even if, because then you can notice that a woman will still, or a man will still try to use that honesty as a manipulation too, right? Well, I know it's all my fault, and I'm sorry, and they can use that too, but you have to just be aware. But these are these are skill sets. I'm telling you, the ladies are very, very, very good at this. They know how to do it. And sometimes it's not necessarily evil. Sometimes it is, I don't necessarily want to say justifiable, but sometimes it's a way to just be wise with your words, right? Not reveal too much, because you might shoot yourself in the foot, right? So there's a time to do certain things in the right way. But right there is what we're seeing, is that a girl, in my opinion, went to this court with the intention of wanting to get these tickets down, right? She wanted to get these tickets reduced, maybe taken away, right? For whatever reason. She may have a legitimate reason why she wants to do it. She ain't got the money, whatever, right? But she knew that was the case, so she went up there and she played the part, y'all, from the very beginning. She started crying, talking about she was in a domestic situation. Why? Tears work. Tears work. Tears work. And also, she also talked about her children. He ain't asked. He ain't asked about the children. Mom, I got my little girls in school. He ain't asked. Oh, I'm a single parent. He ain't asked. But what that does is make it look like it's harder for her, and she's struggling, and life is so hard. She just needs some help. And you notice that when he said, you're still going to have to pay these fines, she got real serious. She got almost mad. And he asked, well, where do you work? She's like, because she had to repeat herself where she worked. And she was like, I work for staffing. You know what I mean? Like, it started to be a little attitude-y, right? Because she was kind of mad that she didn't get what she want. Y'all, I love this because, yes, manipulation is used by the devil big time and through other people. But an even greater tool is discernment, right? An even greater tool is discernment. And I'm going to explain how you can learn to discern these things so you don't get caught up, right? That you don't get caught up, so that way you can recognize these things and kind of stay a step ahead if you can, right? I'm going to get into that, but I have one more example. Ooh! I got one more example here. Because not only do women manipulate, the men do it too. The men do it too. They just do it in a different way. And men are not as slick with it. Men are not as slick about it, right? Men don't know how to play the cards right, right? That we reveal our cards too quickly to manipulate. Like, we don't have the patience and the time to be secretive and because we're we're like takers, right? We just want it. We want what we want, and we don't have time to be trying to like play slick to get around it. No. We are takers, so we try to go take. And oftentimes we're successful in taking. So we use that as our skill. Like we just dominate. We just go dominate to get what we want. We dominate to get what we want. Women cannot dominate to get what they want. So they have to play the chess game, right? They don't have to, right? They could just be honest and genuine. Genuine wins over everything. Being genuine is the best way to get what you are to receive. But women can't dominate, so they this is their game to play, and men do it worse because that's not our skill set. We're not very good at that because we're used to just getting what we want by being dominant to get it. But men still manipulate because they've developed that spirit from their mothers. That spirit comes from evil. So it's not the mothers who are passing it by way of the mothers, but it's the devil who is in control of even the mothers. So they have that same spirit within the men. This is from YouTube. Kirk Franklin. You guys know Kirk Franklin. You guys know you some Kirk. Kirk has some good songs. Smile, Stomp, Revolution. Do you want a revolution? Ooh, ooh. He got some good gospel songs. He's a gospel singer. He's been around for years and years and years. Well, he's right now in some controversy over some dance moves that he did in Jamaica or something. And the Christians, they're like, what is wrong with him? Why are you dancing like that? And I want to show you guys what he had to say because he went and apologized about it. And I just want to share a little bit about a man's manipulation as well. So let me go to... This is from Kirk Franklin's YouTube channel. Here we go.
So early this year, I had the great opportunity to go to Jamaica. Beautiful place. And I had a chance to perform. Since I've spent most of my career dancing and moving around and jumping on stage, that I didn't know that I would ever do anything that would ever offend anyone in any community, but it did. And because it did, I sincerely apologize. I sincerely apologize because I never want to get to a place that I can't learn what I need to do better, what I can do different to make sure that as I grow as a man, grow physically or in any aspect, that I'm always being humble enough and submissive enough to hear people and their concerns about anything being bigger than the message of Jesus.
Listen. Them moves were not no apologetic. You guys see the moves. Those were not no apologetic moves. Those were intentional moves. Them moves were intentional. Whoever was in the audience, those moves were intended for them to feel them. There was no doubt in those moves. Those were full confidence, full commitment. No uncertainty in those moves. So it's hard for me to believe that apology is sincere, right? I just don't believe it. I think he gave a Christian response. I think he just apologized. I think he just said it to say it because he's under fire. And look you saw the way he was dancing. And you saw what he was wearing too. The Christians are mad about what he was wearing because he's buff. This buff guy fit. Looks good. But it was like he's this like Christian gospel artist / pastor too, but he has this like tank top on looking ripped, but also just kind of dancing sensually. It's a little sensual. I wouldn't say it's like just like overly sexual, but it's a little like sensual. And I think he knew what he was doing. He was catering to his audience. there's some ladies in the audience, and he was just being an entertainer, maybe crossing the line a little bit on what a Christian entertainer should do. But I don't necessarily think it's something that he should apologize over, to me. Like, cause he doesn't look like he was sorry when he was dancing. Like, he thought he was doing what he was supposed to do. Right? And he's been around for 20, 30 years. He been doing these dance moves. You think this new? He ain't shocked that his dance moves are maybe a little crazy. He's been knowing this kind of stuff. So I don't believe the apology, but let's do one more and we'll be off this. This is Kirk Franklin does another apology in the same video about another incident that happened as well. Here we go.
All right, so I'm gonna say something, and I'm gonna keep this real, and I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all. Sometimes I just play too much. Sometimes I just be doing too much. I do. I play too much. I'm friends with these people. We have fun backstage, and I don't know how to separate the backstage Kirk from on stage Kirk. Like, I am who I am, wherever I am. These are my peoples, and we act silly backstage and have fun, and I don't know how to turn that off. And I gotta learn it because I know that it can be offensive to some people. But sometimes I just play too much. And in that moment, I was playing too much. I shouldn't have been playing out there in front of y'all. I should have kept that to myself and have fun with them the way I do when we be acting a fool. But sometimes I get on my own nerve. And when I was doing it, it seemed fine, but when I saw the clip, yeah, it's too much.
I don't believe him, man. I don't believe him. It just don't seem genuine. It don't seem real that he's sorry. Like, for one, why do you even need to be sorry? Like, he didn't do no crime. He didn't commit no crime. Yeah, it looks a little effeminate and stuff like that. He like pretending to twerk, and it looks like he's just having fun, really, but he's kind of doing it in an effeminate way. So that part looks a little weird, but it's not nothing to be sorry about. That's his personality. So to apologize is crazy to me, but it's not believable because it just seems like that he just wants to stay in the good graces. So that's another form of manipulation, is that do what you want, but just have a good apology about it. And then you can get away with it. And that's what he did. We've been known Kirk Franklin to be like a goofy person. He's been goofy, right? He's been like that goober type of person. We've known that for a long time, and he's always kind of been like that, right? Where he kind of like, what the, right? So this is not new. And then even the apology seems kind of goofy. Right? So he knew what he was doing. He's well aware of himself as this grown man. He's been doing this for 20 plus years. Now, because we have this sensitive culture, of course, probably people are now talking about, what is this pastor doing, twerking? Right? The Christians overreacting to stuff like they do, especially now. And he went on there and did a fake apology to the people, saying he plays too much. Yeah, that may be true. I play too much too. You know what I mean? I play too much, but I don't have to go and apologize to nobody for me being how I am, right? Meaning, like, in a public platform, right? If you've affected somebody, then you go apologize to them if you see the need to be in private. But to do this public thing, he's not sorry. Come on, he's not sorry. Sorry for what? What is there to be sorry about? Who did he offend? But that messes up the money. That messes up the influence if you got a little stain on your reputation. So he's going to get up there and be goofy and apologize, whether it's genuine or not, and to manipulate the audience. So men do it too. Men do it too. So I'm gonna take some calls, but last thing I want to say is that The greatest tool that Satan uses is manipulation, but the greatest tool that God uses and that we have access to is discernment. And how do you discern? In the same way, learning how to sharpen the tool of manipulating others by playing a game, knowing how to get what you want in that same kind of way is the same way you would practice discernment. And that's just by observing yourself, right? Because it mostly comes from if you pay attention to yourself and recognize your own behaviors, you start to understand things more, but also observing life around you. And when you observe, you ask questions, right? What does that mean? Right? Why did that happen like that? What was that result? And the more you observe and the more you ask questions, the more you learn and the more things start to make sense. So you start to see clear, right? And then you start to catch these things because you're understanding what's going on, right? Your mind is being renewed based off of this awareness and this desire to learn what's going on. And what that does, it keeps you 2 steps ahead all the time. And I'm not saying you'll never be tricked, right? And I'm not saying that you'll never slip up or like someone might pull a fast one on you or your girlfriend, your wife, or whatever, or husband, whatever, might not get in there and manipulate every once in a while, right? I'm not saying that won't happen, but you'll be able to catch it, or after it happens, you'll be able to learn from it. And then you'll start to continue to stay 2 steps ahead, right? You'll be able to stay 2 steps ahead because your intention is not with an agenda to manipulate. Your intention is to be genuine. So why would you not stay 2 steps ahead? Why would you not be 2 steps ahead of the agenda that's going on? So observation, meaning awareness of yourself within and your actions within, and observation and awareness of the world around you, and questioning everything. Why? What? And you'll get the answer. Or you ask and you shall receive. And next thing you know, you're staying protected from life because you're avoiding the traps. Know what I'm saying? I ain't making this stuff up. I ain't making it up. So get to know yourself and be aware. That's my advice. My little advice. Let me get to some calls and then I'll get to some super chats as well. Let me go to Jaden out of California. Jaden, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
What's up, Joel?
How's it going, Jaden?
Nice, bro. Yeah, I just wanted to give a quick little comment about how to deal with, because you said that it starts in childhood, right? And I agree.
The babies,
I
yep.
had this nephew who was born during COVID, and he used to live in the house with us, like living in the living room. Like, because we were poor back then and we had, everyone was in the same house. So what would happen is they would give him to me to watch for like 5 hours, right? And his mom and dad, my brother, did not discipline him in the right way whenever he would start crying. Because we were in such a big house with like a lot of people, I assume they would get in their feelings about it, because that's what happened to me. They would get in their feelings like, oh, he's annoying everyone. Now I'm going to look like a bad person if I keep letting him cry. So let me just give him what he wants so he like stops, crying. And it also could be like, like you said, you feel bad.
Yeah.
And that you go bad. But I remember one time I was just like, no, I'm going to teach this. Like, I'm going to teach this kid some discipline for the first time. So I remember he dropped a bunch of trash on the floor. He got out the trash can, dropped it all on the floor, and went back to his iPad. and I just took away his iPad, bro. And I was
Yeah.
like, no, you got to clean that. I was just pointing, you got to clean that first. And
Yeah.
he's like 2. He knows what cleanup is, but he doesn't know that. I don't think he knew that you can get your iPad back when. But he was just throwing a fit. This is the loudest I've ever
Yeah.
heard him, bro. He's just wailing. My aunt comes out. She's like, is he all right? Right? She's like annoyed. She's like in that fake concern. And I'm like, yeah, he's got to clean this mess up, right? And, I mean, he sat there for a solid 20 minutes crying. But then it finally just kind of like, after 20 minutes of wailing, just instantly turns off and he starts cleaning everything up. And then I gave him his iPad back.
Nice. That's a
It
perfect
was
example.
insane.
That was a perfect example, Jaden, because that's true. Is that they will see, and children aren't. They know they're manipulating, but they're a little bit more innocent about it than adults, right? They just know in their minds that they're getting their way, right?
Yep.
They're not thinking as that I'm being evil. They're knowing that this is working, so they will use that, right? They will use that, and after a while, once they see that's not working, they're like, wait, I actually really want my iPad back. Let me just clean this up.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
a great point.
And it's kind of like similar to how we are when we're like dying, like from the false self.
Yeah.
Like it's just constant, just fear and like anger, but then it kind of just switches off like in an instant after the spirit. It just kind of like dies down.
Yeah. When you don't.
That's like the perfect analogy right there.
And that's the way God deals with us, is that he's gonna let us suffer, and if we want to get to where we want to go in life or whatever, then we're gonna have to buckle down and turn to him in order to get it. We cannot keep taking these little shortcuts if we really truly want peace, right? So he does not gonna just give you things just to shut you up, or
Right.
you know what I mean? Like you're gonna, if you really want peace, if you really want to grow, then you're gonna have to do it the right way. And that's how we ought to learn from that example and teach our children or people around us.
The only thing I have a problem with is when it comes to adults, especially women. I've gotten better at it now because my mom does a lot of the fake crying, so I can kind of see it.
Yeah.
But there are still some times where a woman's crying, and I'm just like, I'm trying to, find a reason why. I'm like, oh, poor thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
sometimes you can't discern it, bro. Maybe I'm just not at that level.
Well,
yet, but
well,
there's
some-
sometimes where I can't discern it.
Well, maybe there's some people that would disagree with this, but at some times, not every single time that a woman is crying, she's typically trying
You're
to
lying.
manipulate or deceiving. But oftentimes, and I don't know how much, but it's being used to manipulate, because that's just a tactic that's been working for children crying ever since they came out the womb, right? So it's just an easy way to get what you want. But that's why we have to not react. It's like we almost have to learn how not to care about whether it's fake or real. Even if it's real tears, we still shouldn't be moved by the real tears, right? We still
Right.
shouldn't be reacting to anything. We should be able to see, be clear and see exactly what's going on, and then from there you figure out you see how to deal with the situation.
Because it's like, it's their problem anyways. Even if it is real,
Right.
It shouldn't even be. That's their hell to deal with.
Right,
I don't
exactly.
know whether, but sometimes you're just like, oh,
Yeah. And that's fine too, as long as we observe and see, like, oh, look, like you turn around and you look at the results. Like, when I did this, what was the results, right? Did this cater to their ego, or did this actually comfort them like I thought it would? You just kind of observe it, and then you just learn from that. So there's really no wrong decision to make. It's more just being observant.
Well, that's all I had to add.
Right on.
By the way, do you
Oh, go
do you
ahead.
own your Instagram? Because I want to find a way to like contact you, send you like video clips you could react to, possibly.
Yeah, I check it, so you can send it to my.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Right on, Jaden. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for calling. Oh, he got me on the thing. Interesting stuff, though, right? Interesting stuff. Let me check. Super chats. Give me 1 second. I'm just double checking here. I just think it's pretty interesting. Because the babies, they do manipulate big time, but I don't think it's as intentionally evil than when adults intentionally do it. You know what I mean? Because babies just want simple things, right? They just want to get their way as like a freaking iPad or some food or some candy, right? They just want to get their way. But when you grow up as an adult and you start wanting your way in other ways, it starts to get more vindictive. And that's where we got to be like, all right, hold up. This, And that's a man's job too. That's a woman's job too, is to overcome and be aware and deal with this stuff. Especially for a man to his wife, a man to his daughter, a man to his children, a man to society, is to discern so he can act when needed to. Let me check here. We got some more calls. While I'm pulling up the super chats here, let me go to JC out of Little Rock, Arkansas. JC, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hello, Joel. How you doing?
All is well, JC. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Okay, so straight to the business. What would you do? Like, if you were on the clips you were doing, what would you do? If you were in that lady's position, would you not be happy that the judge gave you some type of leniency, a discount from $300 to like $125? Would you not be happy about that?
Of course, it just depends. I would have to be in a situation because there's so many different variables that go into that. It's like, am I being catered to? Do I deserve to just pay this fee so I learn that hard lesson not to be running red lights, or different variables? But obviously everybody likes a little grace to be given to them. But I wouldn't feel proud of myself if I knew I was doing it out of manipulation.
Is it manipulation? Because you were saying it's manipulation that she was just giving her life circumstances. If it was full manipulation, she wouldn't have had to pay a dime, in my opinion. She still had to pay $105.
But that was her, right. But she didn't have that was her intention, was to get it cleared. What her intention, I'm sure, was to not pay anything or even to get it dropped. So she threw out all the stops that she could, that she was a single mother, that she was in a domestic relationship. She started crying. She was wiping her tears. Like, she threw all her little tactics. She threw them all out.
So if you had been the judge, would you have given her any form of a discount, or would have been like, your tears mean nothing, you're manipulating, this is your fine, and you get community service, or what would you do?
That's a great question, Jay-Z. I would hope that in that moment, I would be able to see what I needed to do according to her situation. Because maybe this girl, if she had 9 traffic stops, she maybe needs to learn a hard lesson to not be running red lights, right? Or she may be deserving of this little grace that I can give her to help her out. So you just have to be present in the situation and pay attention and know what you're getting into.
Okay, random question. How much grace is too much grace?
That's why you got to know yourself. That's why you got to observe and be able to see what you are to do. Because if you are paying attention, then you will see what is enough, and you'll just see what's in front of you to do that will be enough for the situation.
Yes, but I guess I asked that one in terms because sometimes a person, even us as Christians, me as the Christian, I am, we get pushed to the limit and stuff. We get pushed to the limit. So me
What do you
asking
mean?
how much grace.
What do you mean
Well,
exactly?
I mean, like, how many? I know in the Bible it says you're supposed to forgive your enemy 70 times, 7 times, right?
Yeah.
So what about when people just keep pushing you to your limit where you don't want to forgive anymore?
Oh.
You're just tired. What are you?
Man, that's a
supposed to do?
good question, JC, because that means that if we are tired, that means that if we are pushed to our limits, that means that we are just as bad as they are. Let me tell you why. It's because we're judging them. We're judging them. And they may be treating you improperly, right? And they may, they may be treating you improperly, but we're judging them by us allowing it to be hard to forgive. That means that we're not being true Christians, right? If it says we are to forgive, but yet we can't forgive because they just keep pushing us to the limit, that means that we're overreacting to them and we're judging them.
I mean,
Would you agree
I
or
don't know
no?
if I wanted. I don't know if that was the answer I wanted, but it like to feel like when I've given all that I can, when I'm trying to give all the love I can personally, and then like still be pushed to like my greatest limit and still feel like I'm not coming out on top, and then to feel like I'm being the one just as bad as them. I don't know if that's the advice I want.
Right, but if are you really giving all the love that you have to give if it's hard for you to forgive? Because the lack of forgiveness is not love. So how are we giving all the love that we can give if we're not willing to forgive?
From personal experience, I've forgiven the way you were supposed to forgive. I've loved Christ-like. I've prayed for people, and for me, I just felt like even with me doing the right thing with my heart wholeheartedly, I felt like I've gotten burned from those experiences, and so it does become a little bit harder to try to keep doing the nice thing, to do the right thing, the kind thing,
I understand
the
that.
godly thing.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, it gets harder for sure. I understand that. But that doesn't mean then you have the right to separate yourself from the situation, right? You don't have to stay in the situation if you can't constantly do the right thing, right? Then maybe you need to separate yourself from the situation so that way you can get yourself right to be able to forgive. You don't have to hang around the person. You can leave.
All right. One last question.
Wait, but what do you think about that, though? Do you agree with that?
I mean, yeah, getting out of a situation if you can leave a situation most of the time, you can leave a situation. You don't have to stay around, but sometimes there are those times where you can't leave immediately, and that's what makes it a little harder.
Because you can't.
You understand that?
Not quite. Can you give me an example?
Okay, so yeah, I'm hearing what you're saying. Like, if there's a situation you don't like, you can leave. Not always. Say like there's a child going through things rough in their life, from their parents. As much as they would want to, they can't leave immediately. Yeah. Or say there's sometimes you're in a professional setting and there's people that you like your job and stuff, but there's certain people that make you have bad days. You can't leave that situation yet. And that's where I guess where I'm trying to come from in my life right now.
I agree with that. No, I agree with what you're saying. And sometimes you may not be able to leave for whatever reason. But then if that's the case, good point is that that's an opportunity for you then to overcome those feelings within you that are preventing you from forgiving. Because at that point, the problem is you too. You know what I mean? And when I say you, I'm saying like me and everybody. is that
Right.
that's our opportunity to recognize that we have some type of anger or resentment or something within us that we need to work on to overcome, and that's an opportunity to do it.
But when you've prayed and prayed and prayed, like I said, doing everything right, following the word of God and everything, and you still are having to have these bad days, well, how are you supposed to keep your strength?
You keep doing what you're doing. For one, you have to be learning from these situations, and if you're not being still, I know you don't do the silent prayer, which I think that you should.
I'll do the Lord's Prayer.
Okay, but the point is that when you're still and you're being quiet and you're not lost up in your head and in these thoughts that are telling you lies and influencing you to do all kinds of things and to get angry or to resent. But when you're still, you can see how to overcome. And but if you truly have a relationship with God, like you say you do, have no reason to doubt you, then you ask God, what do I do next? How do I overcome this? Show me what I should do to overcome this. And he will make
But
it.
we're not supposed to question God. We're supposed to just follow and understand and trust him because he has a plan. We're not supposed to even ask questions. That's why I get confused over that logic.
Well, maybe that's why you're not getting the answers, because you're not asking the question. Why not try? Why not just try? Try asking. Because it does say in the Bible too is that if you ask, you shall receive, and that God is our Father. So why not try just asking him, show me the way, and just, you don't have to do it disrespectfully. And even if you were to do it disrespectfully, JC, God knows your heart, right? But you don't ask like in a crazy way to let you know, Lord, I don't understand. Help me make sense of this. Help me understand so I can overcome and be a better person. And then he will. And I think he wants that. I think he would rather that than you trying to be obedient.
All right. I didn't think this is where that conversation was going to go, but I appreciate
Right
it.
on.
And answer your messages on Instagram and Facebook like that young man asked.
All right.
All right.
I will appreciate it, JC. Thank you, man. Have a good one.
Good talk.
You as well. Right on. Nice. Good talk. I agree. Amazing stuff. I've heard that before a lot of times too. I've heard people say that it feels wrong to question God. That's Satan's game. That's Satan's game, right? Because you can go directly to God and say, God, I need some help. Even when you're frustrated, even when you're mad, because he knows that you're just lost and confused. He knows your heart. So you don't have to be afraid to go to him. And if you are, that's the reason why you're not getting the answers that you want, because you're not asking him. Because you have this idea that if you ask, then you're going to disappoint him or something. But that's not God saying that. That's Satan tricking people to believe that asking is disrespectful, so that way you don't ask and you don't grow. God is our Father in heaven. Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Ain't that the Lord's Prayer? So don't be afraid to ask. Just try it and see. Kel Samogi with Super Chat says, Joel, he's a pastor twerking on stage. Huh? Oh, shoot. What time is it? Oh, I'm being kicked out right now. I thought an Anchor Baby wasn't coming in, so I had a little couple of minutes. You got to get in here? Oh, Bill's filling in for... Oh. All right, guys, I gotta end. Thank you, Kel. He says, Joel, what the? He's a pastor twerking on stage. Yeah, that's true, but is he really hurting anybody? Is it really that offensive that Kirk Franklin is on stage silly twerking? He ain't really like busting it out. If he was really out there like really like busting it out, you know what I mean? Like a full on twerk, like talking about music video type vibes. I'm talking about competition with Cardi B type of twerk. Then we can start being like, okay. But Kirk was just being goofy, right? And it may be a little weird looking, but it's not like worth an apology in my opinion, and not for no outrage. And if you care that much, what the? Not you, Kel, but in general. Appreciate it, Kel. Chris says, hey, Joel, with the salute hand. Shout out. What's up, Chris? How you doing, man? Kel and Chris are both mods of JFTV. Shout out to Kel and Chris. Appreciate you guys. Nice. All right, guys. I'm being kicked out now. I thought I was going to give you a couple more minutes, but Bill, the engineer, was like, you got to go. You got to get about. So I think he has some work to do. Danimal. Oh, let me see. Let me just make sure I got to everything. And then I got to go. All right, I think we're good. All right, guys, I'm back here tomorrow. Tomorrow is my Friday of the week. I do not have a show on Friday. It's just Monday through Thursday. So I got to end. Bill's back in the studio giving me that look. So he must really got something to do. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Until next time, I'll see you. Bye.